Hey everybody, this is Coop from Demonic Legion and also Druki.net. I've got a battle report of 2,500 points of Dark Elves versus Lizardmen. So for my list, I've got a Supreme Sorceress as my general. She is a level 4 of Shadow with a Dispel Scroll, Ring of Hotek, and a Dark Steed mount. I've got a Master who has a 1-up armor save and a 4-up ward save. He's on a cold one, and he's also the BSB. I've got 2 units of 14 Witches for core with musicians and standards. I've got 10 Dark Riders with full command, shields, and crossbows. A smaller unit of 5 Dark Riders with just the musician, shields, and crossbows. For special, I've got 4 Bolt Throwers, 9 Cold One Knights with full command, 18 Executioners who also have full command and the Banner of Swiftness, 5 Shades with additional hand weapons and musician, and 2 units of Doomfire Warlocks, 1 of 5 and the other one of 10 with a champion. So, for my spells, I rolled 3 6s and a 1. So, Steed of Shadows, the one spell, is pretty useless. So it was dropped to Malkoth's, and I had a lot of picks here, so I kept Occam's. I chose Pit of Shades because it's really good against Saurus, and I chose the Withering because sometimes my Witch Elves have difficulty wounding Saurus. So, for deployment, I've got a Bolt Thrower way on the right. I've got my Warlocks and Dark Riders who moved up quite a bit after Vanguarding. I've got 14 Witch Elves, 2 Bolt Throwers back here, and the Cold One Knights. Additionally, I have 5 Scouting Shades who are way in the back. I was able to just sneak them past my opponent. He's got 10 Skink Skirmishers with a character in there. It's a Skink Chief. He's got another unit of 10 Skirmishers with a Skink Priest who has a Dispel Scroll and Heavens. He's a level 1 of Heavens. I think he's got Comet. The other one has, I think, Curse of the Midnight Wind, or possibly Ice Shard Blizzard, one of the two. Behind him is a big bus of Cold Ones. He's got, I think, 6 Cold One Knights, and the real problem in here is that he's got his general, who is or not his general, an Old Blood, who has got, I think, a 4-up ward save. He's got the ancient Stegodon Helm that gives him +1 to toughness and impact hits. And then he has 3 other Saurus characters. They're all Scarvets. One of them has, I think, a 4-up ward save. The other one, they all have 1-up armor saves. One's got a 4-up ward save, one's got a rerollable armor save, and the other one, I'm not sure what he has, but it's something. To the left of them, he's got a big unit of Saurus with spears and a Slann who is Lore of Light. He rolled up Time Warp, Speed of Light. What was the other one? Time Warp, Speed of Light. One of the direct damage spells, I think it does 2d6 strength 4 hits. I think that might be the signature spell. And then I can't quite remember what his last light spell was, but I don't think it made... Oh, Phos Protection was the other one. He's got a unit of 10 Skirmishers. Again, there's a character in there. I think it's a level 1 of Heavens. Skink Priest, who's got the Cube of Darkness. And he's got a Salamander behind them. Additionally, there is a Salamander to the left of the woods. He's, for my side, I've got my Executioners right in the middle, my Warlocks with the Supreme Sorceress, and more Witches. I've got Dark Riders on the far left. I didn't Vanguard them because I wanted to charge these Chameleon Skinks. I've got my last Bolt Thrower, and up here he's got his Chameleon Skinks and a last unit of Skink Skirmishers who also have a character. It is another Skink Chief. So my opponent won the roll to go first. He moved up his Chameleons right in the face of my Dark Riders and bolt thrower. I thought this was an interesting move. I didn't think it was the best option because, as you'll see later, he can be charged. He moved up his skirmishers. He moved up both of the salamanders. He was pretty conservative with the big block here with the Slan. He didn't move him up very much. And surprisingly, the cold ones did not move up very far either, which is more than fine with me. He turns his skirmisher unit to face my shades, and he moves one of the skirmisher units into the building. So, the magic phase, he rolls double sixes. So the very first turn, he's got 12 dice. And I was pretty concerned about this, but my poor opponent just rolled terribly. He threw a totally appropriate number of dice at Comet, and it just did not go off. I think he missed it by one. So then he's down a couple of dice, and then he throws Flawless Protection on someone, and he again threw the right number of dice at it, on its Slan too, so he's got the +4, and it just didn't go off, so his magic phase was shut down basically immediately. I didn't have to throw any dice at anything, and I didn't have to use my scroll, so that was really great for me. During shooting, his camos took off 2 of my Dark Riders, but thankfully they passed their panic, and that was about it. He wasn't able to kill any of my shades. He got a little bit unlucky with the shooting there. So turn 1 Dark Elves. This is why I was so surprised he brought his chameleons in so close, is that the Dark Riders charge in, and he can't stand and shoot because they have blowpipes which aren't quick to fire, and I'm within the 9-inch base movement. So the camos are going to die from that, no problem. I don't move anything else up on this left side too much because I know how dangerous salamanders can be. If I move up to kind of get close to his temple guard, or is not his temple guard, his Saurus warriors, I risk getting charged by his cold ones, and also I risk his salamanders moving up and getting a flame template down the flank, which would be pretty bad. So as you can see on the right, I don't move up too much up. I move the witches up just a little bit in case they ever need to get a flank charge, and then the Dark Riders face this building to take shots at the skinks. I'll just say now, I eventually kill these skinks in this building. I think he's got pretty good saves because they're skirmishers in a building, so it took me a while to kill them. I would have charged in, but I don't really know the rules for buildings and cavalry, and I was too lazy to look them up, so I just decided to commit to shooting them for a very long time. That's just what happened over there. I got my warlocks into his skink skirmishers, which was great. I think I needed a 9, and I rolled it, so I got in the flank there. So they're gonna be off the board in no time. And then my poor shades failed their march tests, so they just moved up a little bit. After combat, I was shocked. His skink chief rolled like a boss. Did 3 hits and then 3 wounds to the warlocks, and I failed all 3 ward saves. So he killed 3 of them, no problem, but luckily they were able to do 3 wounds before, and they have a charge and a flank. So he was in trouble there, but he rolled Snake Eyes on Cold-Blooded. And these guys cleaned up shop over here. I don't think I was able to get anything off on the magic phase. I think I tried to Pit of Shades, and it might not have gone off, or I might have tried to Doom Bolt or something, so nothing of note happened. Turn to Lizardmen. He moves his skirmishers over here to take shots at my Dark Riders. He moves his salamanders up to flame on me. I did 1 wound to one of these salamanders with the bolt thrower, which was nice. And then he threw one of his skink chiefs up here to chaff me. I think it's a good idea to chaff me, but this was not the right direction. The way I can move, I can put my witches up here and then overrun directly into one of these salamanders. So I'm not sure what he was thinking there with the angle. and he just moved up his other skirmishers a little bit. So over here, now I remember, the magic phase I got of Mystifying Miasma on the upcast version, so this big unit over here have -3 to their movement, so I think they're movement 1 right now, so he couldn't really do anything with them. Over here, he decided to reform his block of Saurus. So I had killed 2 cold ones with my bolt thrower. So I shot and went through 2 of them, which was nice. So he decided to reform so the characters in front and can block those with their higher toughness and their also their ward saves. During magic, and shooting. This is after shooting. He's able to take off, I think, 8 executioners. So that was pretty good. His flame template landed perfectly to take out quite a few executioners, and he actually got 1 warlock as well. And then his other flame template and had killed 6 witches, so that one also landed perfectly. So turn 2 Dark Elves. I take my witches into this lone character, probably the bravest skink chief you'll ever see. And, oh, my Dark Riders are gone here. He must have killed them with shooting. I tried to take the executioners with Banner Swiftness into this Salamander, but unfortunately, I needed a 7 and I rolled like a 3. So they just kind of scooched up a little bit. And on the right, I didn't really move just because his big block is staying back, and at this point his magic's not doing much, so, and most of his shooting's tied up, so it's almost like what's the point in me moving forwards. As you can see over here, I cleaned up his skinks last round of combat, and I had pursued with the warlocks. They ran them down and stayed on the table, so they moved in my phase back behind this building. There are only 2 of them left. For shooting, I think I went into these skinks over here with my bolt thrower and I panicked them, which was great because, as you can see right now, there's just a great line going from the witches to this salamander to these skinks. So they're kind of in trouble over there. During magic, I threw 4 dice at Pit of Shades and it went off irresistibly. I tried to put it on these Saurus characters over here, and I rolled a 4 for the scatter, and it just went way off. So I missed, and my punishment was my sorceress lost 3 wizard levels. So, oh, actually, no, sorry. That's later in the game. She just took a wound from magical feedback. Her and the warlocks each took a strength 6 hit, so she takes a wound there. And I lost a lot of dice, so I couldn't do much. During combat, as you can see, I easily kill the skink character, overrun 7 or 8, and run directly into the salamander. And that's pretty much it for the turn. So turn 3 Lizardmen, he moves up this block a little bit, but not too much. And he throws a skink priest. He'd gotten a miscast previously, so he had taken a wound on both of his skink priests from. He also rolled the strength 6 hit on anyone that could channel. So he decides to throw him up to check the executioners. I'm not really sure he needed to do this at all. I mean, I could go into these Saurus, but why would I really want to? My executioner block has really been diminished. So I would kill a lot of them, but he'd probably kill me outright with all of his attacks. But you know, that was his decision. He put the priest right there to block, and then in the magic phase, I don't think he gets much off. I think he gets this is the turn where he gets off a spell to buff the Cold One Knights, and he rolled the Irresistible, so that's where all those wounds came from. It was his turn. And the witches easily handled the salamander. I took a couple casualties, but ran him down and went into these skinks. So the witches are on quite a roll. Turn 3, Dark Elves. I don't do much. I just don't move up anything, because what's the point? I do take the Executioners into the Priest. He has the Cube of Darkness, so it'll be good to blow through that guy. And I just go on to shooting and magic. So magic, I again Pit of Shades, and it goes off irresistibly again. I put it right over these guys, and this time it scatters 6. So I just cannot catch a break with the Pit of Shades. I guess I really should have just put it over these Saurus and started whittling them down, but these characters are so tough with their ward saves, I really wanted to diminish their strength as soon as I could. But, you know, it happens, and for all my trouble, the Sorceress loses 3 wizard levels. She lost everything except Occam's Mind Razor, so now I've got a level 1 with Occam's, and that's it for Shadow, which was tough, but it happens. During shooting, I think I mostly just take shots at the Saurus block over here. I am able to kill one of his characters with a big bolt. I think I killed his BSB, and then I might have taken shots at some of these skirmishers here and there. Not sure what this is a shot of. It's just, yeah, here's after combat. The Executioners cleaned up and reformed, and then so did the Witches, who, well, they didn't reform, they overran because they have Frenzy. But, that was it for my turn. Turn 4, Lizardmen. So he tries to make a charge with his big bus into my Witches. I think he needed a 10 or maybe even a 9, and he just didn't roll it, so he moves up. And then this block over here tried to charge my Executioners, and I said, I'll just flee, and he moved up quite a bit as well. During magic, I don't think much happened. He might have gotten off, oh yeah, he got off a magic missile at these Executioners and brought them down to 5. If they lost one more, they would no longer be able to rally, so it's a lot. I got really lucky there. So, as you can see, weird situation here. My Warlocks are into this big block. I decided to take the Warlocks and the Cold Ones into this block. So, the Cold Ones are on his flank, and they need a 5 to get in. So, I say I'll bring everybody in. With always strikes first, and 2 units, 1 on his flank, I should be able to just clean up these Saurus, especially with the fact that I can't cast anything else anymore because my stupid Sorceress lost all her wizard levels. I'll just throw dice at Soul Blight from both the Warlocks, so one of them will go through and he will be toughness 3 and strength 3. But, of course, I rolled 1 less than I needed from the Cold Ones. I think I needed a 6 to get in, and I rolled a 4, a 1, and a 1. So they are dreadfully out of position now because they can get countercharged by these Cold Ones, and my Sorceress and Warlocks are in a combat that they won't do great in. So immediately after combat, you can see they have all fled. He has done quite a lot of wounds to me, and I, however, was able to do all but 1 wound to the stupid Slann. I really wish I could have killed him, but he's got 1 wound left, and I'm fleeing over here. Though I have 3 models left in the unit, and initially there were 8, so that luckily puts, or there were initially 11, sorry, so luckily that puts me above 25%, so I can rally. But this is a real shame. So turn 5 Lizardmen, and I caught a huge break. He takes his Saurus character that he had, at one point he moved one of his Cold Ones into this block over here, and he had charged my Sorceress, and I fled maybe a decent distance. I rolled like 7 or 8 maybe, but he just rolled terribly and was not able to catch me. He missed by an inch, which was huge because now I still have these warlocks who can cast Doom Bolt and Soul Blight, and also his Saurus didn't. He would have overran into my executioners, which wouldn't have been great because they'd be dead. He does take his Saurus into this big block of, or his cold ones into my cold ones. So I'll just say after combat, I think he kills one or two of my guys, and I just can't do any wounds to him. They are just, I'm able to do wounds to him, but I'm not able to get any of them through. He just is making all of his 2-up or 3-up saves. So turn 5 Dark Elves. I move everybody up so that I can support later on, and I luckily rally with both units, which is great. During Magic, not much happens, and he kills a ton of cold ones. Luckily, I've got the BSB and the banner, and he doesn't have any banners in there or anything, and I'm able to stick, but I think I needed a 6, but they just went to town, because they're all strength 7. I think I soul blighted them, so they're strength 6, but still, that really does a number to my armor save. So turn 6 Lizardmen, he takes his Saurus character into my witches. I don't have an option. If I flee, I'll go off the table, so I just take it. I'm not super upset about it because I can challenge him out with my champion, and hopefully I'll be able to stick. But that's not the case. He does impact hits and kills the other guy, and then just destroys the champion in combat. So I think I'm testing on like a 6, and I fail, and he catches me. Oh, actually, no, worse than that. I'm testing on like a 3 because he charged and did like 4 or 5 wounds. So, so I just flee, get run down. He's off the table, so he can't be shot. And then over here in this combat, he kills everyone except for the BSB, but luckily the BSB sticks around. Turn 6 Dark Elves, so this is kind of confusing. This is after combat. I took the witches into the side of the Saurus, the cold ones, to get some combat res, and then I took my Dark Riders and my witches into his Saurus block. Dark Riders in the flank and these 5 witches in the side. During Magic, I get Soul Blight off on them, the Saurus, which is great. I actually get the bubble version, so it's off on these cold ones as well, and totally wipe him out in combat. Unfortunately, I'm 1 unit shy of stopping him from being steadfast. But he rolls, and he rolls like 3 5s, so he's fleeing, great. Then he rolls an 11, so I can't catch him. But he's low enough that he's no longer he's now below 25%, so he needs Snake Eyes to rally, which is good. So we played a couple extra turns besides 6 because we were kind of unsatisfied with how the game was ending. We both felt like it was in the middle of things, and it was just a casual game, so we decided to continue. So I'm just going to go through some of the other pictures. Not exactly sure what turns these are, but we'll just let you know what happens. He ends up rolling Snake Eyes and rallying this big block over here. So they are they're back on the table. He tries to do some things in the magic phase. Luckily I'm able to dispel them, and I just move. These guys aren't fleeing; they're just kind of moving away so they don't get charged. He's able to punk my BSB, and the witches, I think, win combat actually, but he sticks around. So this must have been my turn after my movement, so this would have been my turn 7. I move the Dark Riders back here to take shots, and I kill the entire unit. So this solo Warlock is a champion. He's the winner of the game. He just is running around casting all his spells, and he throws Doom Bolt at this unit and kills all the Saurus. So just the Salons left, and then I kill him with shooting. He only had 1 moon left. And then not much happens during my opponent's phase because he can't shoot or use magic anymore, but he charges his character into my witches, and they end up killing them to a man. And this is the point where we called the game. It's basically turn 8. This was turn 8 of Lizardmen, and we decided to call it. All I would have done basically if we continued would be move everything as far away from him as possible, shoot with the bolt throwers, and try to pick off these characters and doom bolt them. So, closing thoughts. At the end of the day, he had these 3 characters left, and that was it. I had my big Dark Rider block, my 1 Warlock who was from the unit of 5. All 4 bolt throwers were still alive. My executioners and one of my units of witches. So pretty good game for the Dark Elves. It was a casual game, so I wasn't necessarily trying to play perfectly. It would have probably been in my best interest to not have charged the big Saurus block with the cold ones and the warlocks. I could have just stayed back and shot at them and all of that stuff and kind of waited it out. But I decided to charge, and that cost me the cold one unit eventually, and also my warlock unit. I thought it was a good idea just because uh, I probably would have broken that Saurus unit and gotten his general. It's like 1,000 points, that whole unit. And if I didn't, he might charge me in the flank with his cold ones, but I've got my character right there, so I'll declare a challenge, and he won't be able to get that many attacks in. But failed the charge, so it happens. I like the way the list plays. I enjoy shades. I think they're really cool. Scouting's always fun. They are pretty good at shooting with their really high ballistic skill. They can deny vanguards. My opponent didn't have any, so I didn't use them for that reason. But they're really fun units, and I liked I liked how everything played. I thought my opponent made some I don't know if I'd say they were mistakes, but he made some interesting choices with bringing a lot of his characters out to redirect that he didn't necessarily need to. He had a scroll and a cube of darkness, and he didn't get to use either of them because I kind of had small magic phases, but also he just they all died very quickly. So had he not done that, he might have been okay. Had he not sacrificed them, he might have been able to shut down some magic phases later in the game. But it's just how he decided to play it. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.